is him every time.
Every time you ain't heard you ain't, every time.
Always catch it after you guys are always talking.
Barber Card Success brought to you by Craig Charles of Crown Cuts Academy, Crown Cuts Academy Bristol, and Craig's Crown Cuts Downtown JC. Today we got a special guest, but first I'm introduce my co-host in person himself, live and direct from
I'm from Marion, Virginia, and my fields. I ain't quite got the cue yet. We're gonna figure his cue out. It's just too much hype before. Yeah, I'm blessed to be here. Traffic was crazy. I hope everybody's all right. Yeah.
And our special guest, my wife, in person.
Thank you guys for having me.
A special guest, a nail technician. So she's in the industry, so she knows what's up.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we're going to spread love the JC way. The only way we know how to do it is the Crown Cuts way. How to spread love, that's how we do. I think today we got a banging topic. I think it's important because one thing that most students do, they don't know how to be a student. I think 80% of students, they don't understand the process of being a student and what it takes to be there. And this is, I'm not just talking about cosmetology, barbering, esthetician, nails. I think all of it in the cosmetology department. But since we are barbers, we're going to give our take and talk to my wife, who's a nail tech. She's going to give her specialty and talk about this because she's been in the industry as well, over 20 years. So today we're going to talk about things to do in school that can help you when you get out of school. How to become your best. How to be your best. When you hear that, Emma, I mean, you work in the school system right now, and you teach students cosmetology, barbering, nails. You have a little grasp on everything. So what comes to your mind when you think of this topic?
I think that people need to learn how to be a student first. I think the wrong with education is that they dump a bunch of information on you and they say, take this test, and then what do you forget it? Like, I can't tell you that. Except for history because I retain that stuff because I enjoy it. But you got to learn to be a student. You have to learn how to teach yourself to retain something, how to get a hold of it, and to start from the bottom and grow. And people don't understand how to do that. They think they get miserable because they think they got to just absorb everything.
One quote that I use all the time, I say, receive, retain, and apply. If you can receive the information, then you have a chance of retaining it. And once you retain it, you can easily apply it. What do you think, Wayne?
I agree. I definitely agree. Yeah. But a lot of times I think for most students, when they start, they don't even realize what they're going into.
Right.
So, you really don't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing what to expect kind of makes you just kind of in limbo with everything almost. Because if I went to school now versus when I went 25 years ago,
right,
it'd be a total different ballgame.
You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
You don't know what you don't know.
Going not really knowing,
Yes.
I don't think I would have had the. If I did it right out of high school, I would have failed, and I know that because I was not ready to handle any kind of responsibility like that, and I took it for granted. And I know that now that it took some growth, and I had to grow up kind of early.
Yeah.
But thankfully, everything happens how it should happen. But I know if I came right in out of high school, I wouldn't have done it.
Well, that's why it's important to kind of get advice or listen to a mentor in the industry before you go into it, and get sound advice. And that's advice that's going to help the student, because there's some things that no matter what people say, some things that you can't go around, that's going to help you. Some things that you just can't avoid, that's going to help you.
The fundamentals.
Yeah. Or even as far as like being there every day, or being able to receive the learning, or just being eager to want to learn.
I mean, it's a maturity, in it, but it's that would be with anything that you do,
right?
Whether if it's committing to a relationship or friendship or whatever it is that you're committing to. I mean, it's a maturity to it.
You're right. I know that when I found out, I can't remember exactly when I just wanted it. Like I was like, I want this. And I think that's the feeling that I have to grasp to do anything. Is like, okay, Am I going to just be a long term apprentice, never, and be kind of almost like a slave to somebody, or am I going to make something of myself? And I think if you take the responsibility of putting things in the air, talking about it, like you put some kind of social responsibility on yourself, like, hey, I heard you still how's school going, blah blah blah. And
Right.
people ask you all the time, and that'll also motivate you.
Well,
Yeah, hold your feet to the fire.
Oh yeah,
well,
for
coming
sure.
from a perspective where we're instructors, we see it every day. Some of
Mhm.
the things that students encounter just to hold themselves back, and some of it is simple.
Sometimes I in my mind I'm laughing because I hear some of their stories and I'm like, nah, go to school.
That's why I was saying it sounds simple, but all those things apply in every aspect of life.
Because
Mhm.
one of the things that you hear all the time, I'm not learning.
But again, it goes into what I was saying earlier. You don't know what you don't know,
Right.
right?
But you have
Yeah,
to you have to give yourself an opportunity to learn.
that's right.
You can't just jump into the ocean, somebody drop you in the ocean and then start moving your arms. I don't know how to swim. You gotta give yourself some time. Yep.
Sorry, my bad. I feel like the people around you rush it, kind of like with this barber industry. Like I've said before, it's like I don't want to say ego, but it's like the people you're around. Like once you get to a certain point, they're like, okay, when are you gonna graduate? You know, when you going to do this? When you gonna open your own shop? When you going to? And
Right.
it's almost like they put pressure on you, like it's
Yeah.
an expectation to
Right
that
away.
stuff. Yeah, like you're not doing anything until you have your own shop. You're not doing anything until you get your license. You know, you're not, and that expectation gets put on you sometimes, and it rush makes you want to rush.
Give yourself some time, opportunity to learn.
Well, I mean, the journey is the process. I
Right.
mean,
Word.
it's the beauty of it, and a lot of times we want that end result, and you have to go through that.
Is that your quote? The journey is the process. We
Journey
got to
is the
write that
I
one
process.
down.
mean,
Yeah,
that's dope.
That's
yeah,
yeah. I
That's a
mean,
good
what's
one.
the walk is the whole reason to
it
do it.
is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
because you learn so much during that journey. I mean, you can't beat it. You can't beat the
And
process.
when you done walking, you stuck. You know
That's
that's
right. That's right.
it.
And at times you're sitting there and you're thinking you're not learning, but you're learning so much. Some of
Oh
the things
yeah.
that people underestimate from going to a school is just being around a group of barbers where you can network. Having that platform there for you where you're meeting different people that can teach you certain things or help you in a certain avenue, that's a plus as well. But it's so underrated because you don't see that you're gaining something instantly from it.
Mhm.
And I like this. The students sometimes will say, "Am I really appreciate you, man? Or really, I really appreciate." And one time I even had a student try to pay me for helping her cut her
Oh
son's hair,
wow.
and I was like, all I would ever ask from any of y'all is if y'all have a shop and I need chair, I got a job. That's
Right.
all I ask. I
Yeah.
would never ask for much more than that. As long as if it comes
Yeah.
down to me needing a place to cut, that's all I would ever ask for
Yeah.
somebody.
So what are some things that students can look out for or just think about to prepare them to avoid that stigma of I'm not learning. Oh, I have 2 months left and I have to get this thing done in a short period of time. I have to rush and do this. I have to rush and make it happen so fast. There's one thing that students don't realize. There's a learning curve after school.
Mhm.
You can't shortcut that 1 month out of school. You can't shortcut that 6 months. You can't shortcut that year out of school. Those things have to happen for you to click in or go into a second gear.
Well, one thing I would say though is, you know, when you say they're not learning, I feel like I'm not learning. Um, the reason why I think they feel like that is because they haven't came across that situation,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
So they don't realize is when they come across that situation, now what school has prepared you for is how to, to make it through that situation. So they don't know yet because they haven't came.
That's a great point. So met this guy at a Halloween party this past weekend, and he made that same point. He's
What'd you wear? What costume did you have?
oh, we were chocolate covered M&Ms.
Okay.
I'll show you pictures.
Bet.
We had the white gloves and everything.
Did
Yeah,
you know
There
you
was,
did?
yeah,
You had the puffy gloves,
yeah,
like
yeah.
the puffy gloves, but it
For
was
real.
cold that night, so
yeah,
it was
man, it
kind of
worked
nice.
out.
I'll show you pictures.
No, I'll have to check it
It was
out.
dope. It was dope. We're gonna
It
use
was
that
fun.
costume again.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So he said that and it was a point proven to me because he said he's an economist. And I'm like, that was one of my favorite class in college, and I didn't know it then. And he said, typically that's what happens with economists, because people don't understand that until they use it, they don't appreciate it.
Hmm.
Until a situation comes up where you have to be in that position of something that was taught in the class. You feel like you didn't get nothing out of it.
That's right.
And what I got out of that class is what helped me start my business. And one of the biggest things I picked up from that class, I didn't know I was going to use that, was supply and demand. For the demand that's out there for students who want to learn how to cut hair, there was a demand. So how do you help the demand? You create the supply. So I create the supply by the school because there was demand for the school. So it was just supply and demand. A simple equation, and that's a simple equation to start a business. If there's a demand for something, supply it. And that's one of the basic quotes in my economics class. I was like, and until he pointed out to me, you don't know until you use it. I was like, man, it's the same thing with barbering.
Well, I mean, I was just saying, and on top of that, also giving back to community because, I know a lot of y'all seen the price of haircuts nowadays, and there's a lot of people that cannot afford to pay $40 for a haircut.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and just being able to have their hair cut, and most of the time, about 4 or 5 months in, the students are giving pretty good haircuts. I mean, really good haircuts. So, giving that service back, but people, I think one of the problems that I see is that, and this, I think this would add to the people wanting to rush, is when students are so concerned about filling their books up and
Right.
having haircuts all the time. I think there has to be, I don't want to say limitations because the school earns and that's how it supports itself, but some of these students need to have breaks in their schedule where they need to do book work.
Right.
They need to sit down and look. And because when you look at that book and you read that book, you get kind of overwhelmed with what you don't know.
The theory is the most important part of the process.
It's overwhelming. I mean, it's a lot.
And if you don't apply it every day during that 1,500 hours or whatever, 1,800 hours, 1,100 hours, if you don't do a little bit every day and try to push all of it towards the end, it's going to be difficult. You're not going to retain much.
That's another thing. Yeah, everybody. I mean, I pushed it to the end. I ain't gonna sit here. Y'all listening? I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I waited to the last. I was reading the Blueprint, the book, The Blueprint.
Yeah.
Shout out to whoever. Yes,
Thomas James.
Thomas James. Whoever wrote that book, that's the best book. I ain't gonna tell you you're gonna pass tests without studying, but I'm gonna tell you that's a good book.
The Blueprint. Shout out to
yeah,
Mr. T.
I pushed it to the limit.
One of my good friends.
But if you stay consistent through the whole thing, you will never feel insecure about at any part of it because you'll know that you're right where you need to be the whole time.
Exactly.
The theory is so important because there's so many things that we talk about as far as the chemistry, as far as electricity, as far as the history of barbering, as far as how to do your drapes, how to sanitize, how to market yourself. Those things are important things that you need to talk about, that you need to learn. Because when you receive it, you can retain it, and when you retain it, you can apply it.
Yeah, it's just building. That's what school does. It gives you that solid foundation. And once you have all that information, and again, I just can't reiterate it enough. I mean, the knowledge will be there when you come across that situation. You'll know exactly how to handle it.
And I think that there's every aspect of school is in barbering in the book at some point. I know I was a literary history guy, and I love the history of barbering. It gives me, I don't want to use the word pride, but I'm proud that I'm in a profession that's been along for so long. And
one of the oldest profession ever.
There was a guy in Egypt, man, and he was such a dope barber that they built this man a statue. And you think about these statues have lasted today,
right,
all these thousands of years. This dude was so dope at cutting hair, they built him a statue.
So learn some of the history.
You know what I'm
Everybody
saying?
wants to put the carriage before the horse and thinking that the haircut is the most important thing. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to do your skill. Even in nails, aesthetics, wherever you got to be able to do the skill. You have to be able to do the skill and do the skill well. But through repetition and your love for it and your passion, it's going to evolve.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to just read off some of the things that I wrote down, and then we'll elaborate on it and talk about why it's going to help you. First one, be present daily.
Of course. I think that's. I mean, you ain't gonna get nothing at home. Somebody said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's
so
right.
if you ain't at school taking shots, you ain't
right.
gonna get a better jumper.
That's right.
It ain't gonna happen.
And that's one of the mistakes, because everybody got an excuse. You want to be good, but you have an excuse why you can't be there to participate in and flourish your skill.
And then you pile that weight of insecurity on you, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger as everybody else is growing.
That's
It's
right.
not that they're just tilting the scale on you.
Right.
You can keep going with them, and still stay balanced. But the more you miss, the bigger the scale gets tilt, and the more weight that's on yourself.
Don't compare yourself to a senior student. You can get help and ask them for help, but don't compare your skill to a senior student. You just come in the first week, the first month, and most schools you don't touch your clippers for at least 4 to 6 weeks.
And sometimes some of these students have been cutting. I mean, 15 years old cutting hair.
Before they
You
even
never,
came to
yeah,
school. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Like just help maybe cut dad's
That's
hair or
right, that's
something. So
right.
you
So
never know.
so you put pressure and anxiety of yourself on yourself about this one guy who was getting ready to graduate, but you don't know how much time he's put in, how much work he has worked, how many hair shows or whatever he has done, or how many people mentors he's had in the industry to help him build himself up.
But one thing I learned too is there are just going to be people that are better than you,
You have to
right?
accept that.
I mean,
It is. So where do you lie in that? Like, if you want to become that, then practice your art and become better. But then you just you got to there's people that are going to just be better.
I was thinking about that this past Olympics. The guy that won ran a 9.7. Okay,
Mhm.
Usain Bolt has a world record, fastest ever. The guy that raced against him named Tyson Gay was right there with him, but he never could beat him. Tyson Gay, if he raced this past Olympics, would have killed all these guys.
Yeah.
Right.
But he grew up in an era with Usain Bolt, and it wasn't his fault, and he still mastered his craft and was really, really fast,
Yeah.
but he wasn't the fastest at the time. And that's not bad, but be the best you can be today.
That's right.
Be the best version of yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Don't keep
Yeah.
trying to race the same boat, because God built Usain Bolt. It's like he just like LeBron James has a tattoo says the chosen one. That's because he was
That's
that's
Right.
LeBron
right.
James.
That is right. That's right. But if you can sleep at night, and I get that from Craig, if you can go to bed at night knowing that you gave it your best and you put your best foot forward, hey, that's the best you can do for
Exactly.
that day, and then just come back the next morning, work on it again.
You carve your little piece of happiness
That's
out
right.
in the world.
That's right.
One thing a lot of students do, they pass up haircuts. Don't pass up haircuts.
That's right.
How are you gonna get better
Gotta
if you
get the
pass up
reps.
It
haircuts?
makes
Gotta
me
get the
sick. I'll be
reps.
looking for them too, and
Yeah.
they be I don't know where they hide. I go outside, I walk around the building, I knock on the bathroom
Yeah.
door, and I can't find them. I don't know where they go.
So those are things that can just help you get ahead of the game
right.
that students
right.
do.
Because you have to get past that. You have to get through that learning curve.
Everybody has that anxiety of not wanting to mess up someone's haircut. You're gonna do it.
I did an apprenticeship, and I used to sit in the shop and pray for a buzz cut. Oh man, tell me you want a 2-0 over. That would make my whole day. If I get a whole day of buzz cuts,
Right.
man. Whew.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand that, hey, everybody is nervous. Everybody was once where you was.
I can
Yeah.
feel it still. It's in my chest.
Yeah.
I still feel it sometimes.
And again, shout out to FeedSpot for giving us the top 25 podcasts in the world, in the country. Go check us out. Like us. Send us a message on Facebook, Instagram, on YouTube. Let us know what you feel. And shout out to our sponsors, Colossal Brand. Hit Jay up. He's doing amazing things. He got amazing products. Hit him up. Give him a shout. Give him a like. He's on Facebook, Instagram, colossalbrand.org, colossalbrand.org. Hit him up. Shout out to my sponsor again, Jay. Good work. Getting your reps. We talking about getting your reps, because if you pass up on cuts, you can't get no reps.
That's right.
I remember some of the funniest times. A lot of students, when they first came, they were so nervous. This is things they used to do. They would go and hide around the school, or go to the bathroom when the haircut comes.
I can't find them. I don't know what they do. There's a spot in the school that they hide in. I can't find it.
I'm like, you come here to sharpen pencils, it'll be a barber.
They doing something. I don't know where they're doing it, but
Yeah. Get your reps.
I think about, actually, I had a situation this weekend. I think it was yesterday. I played basketball, and I ain't played basketball in like a minute. And I embarrassed myself out there. And I was angry and upset at myself. But I knew that the reason I was so terrible is because I haven't played basketball.
You had no reps.
These guys play every week.
Rusty.
Yeah, I mean, you got old men out here, boom, hit you with the little floater. But he's been doing that floater for 6 years every Sunday, and I'm out there and just looking goofy. So you gotta get the work in.
The hesitation.
Oh man, they pump fake me. Oh, it was bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's valuable, and people underestimate that all the time.
But I think like for me, insecurity scares some people off. A
Oh,
lot
for
of
sure.
people,
For
as you got to
sure.
get over that hump of you just got to be bad at something for once in your life.
Well, insecurity, it'll paralyze you,
Oh yeah,
and you will not build or you will not grow from it.
and there's people right now that live like that, and it's a tough life to live.
Be patient. Be patient.
That's a hard one.
But you have to understand this is an acquired skill. This is the learned skill. So
Yeah.
any learned skill is going to take some time.
Mhm.
You're talking about getting a salary where you're going to school for 10 months to a year and you come out with a great starting salary.
How would you differentiate patience and hunger? What would you say to draw, like what would that line be
Well,
drawn
well,
verbally?
well, hunger is it's close because hunger is just taking that first step to come to school, but you have to maintain that, sustain that. Patience is wanting that to happen right now and then, and I understand. And you can be patient, understand, just like the Olympics. It's 4 years. They're hungry, but they have to be patient and understand. They have to train every day to maintain that.
Mhm.
You can't stop because if you're hungry, you're gonna maintain that whatever 24, 48 months of constant training and
Yeah.
understand you might not even qualify.
For just
That's
a
right.
9-second event.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you might not even qualify.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You know what I mean? You
Mhm.
might not even qualify to get to the show.
Man, that's tough. I just thought about that. You just put that in
Yeah.
perspective for
I
me.
mean,
Seriously.
4 years.
Train 4 years of your life for 9 seconds and not make it.
Yeah.
That'd be tough. You think about
So
every push up you didn't do,
right.
every rainy day.
And so when you come in, and I see it all the time, I have to talk students off the ledge. One student came, they've been there a week and was really nervous and beating themselves up. I'm like, hey, you've only been there 3 days. But what she see of other students and where they are right now, she's putting herself in that position
Mhm.
and wanting to be there right now. I'm like, that's not fair to yourself. You don't know your left hand from your right hand right now in this industry. Give yourself some time. Learn what the guards do for you. Identify different haircuts. Identify and learn what your guards do. Learn how to sanitize. Learn how to clean. Learn how the chair works. All those things you need to do.
Yeah. And knowing that it's okay,
Yeah,
right? Because like you said, hunger and patience, they just go together.
Mhm.
right.
You want to be hungry and you want to learn and be eager and you want to get it, but also at the same time you got to be like, okay, I got to give myself that time to get there.
I mean, because everybody been when I first opened the school, I was like, I was like, I want my school to be the best in the world. I want my school to be the best in the Southeast. But I have to understand, I never, I didn't know how to teach yet.
That's me. Even though I got the light, I mean, I passed my test. I still don't know how to
Yeah.
teach.
So I had to understand it's a growing process too with my students. Learn that I'll be in a better place next year than I am today, or even 6 months. I'll be better than what I was 3 months ago. I'll be better than what I was 6 months ago. I'll be better than what I was when I first opened because that's the hunger I have inside of me to be better, and understand I'll have to be patient with it. But I know where I'm going because I have this plan, this ultimate plan to just keep getting better and keep evolving.
That's where I'm at, and thankfully I've been blessed with avenues to do that, like podcasts or school, just to continue improving in an industry that I love. So that's really what I look at. I mean, I found what I like, my niche, and then I look for opportunities in the niche.
And
That's right.
you will
That's right.
evolve if you put some time and work
Oh,
into
for
it.
sure.
Mhm.
For sure.
You
I
will
mean,
evolve.
yeah, you'll see the end result, but you got to put that work in.
And I seen that. I hate to go back to Usain Bolt. I seen that quote somewhere about a year ago, 2 years ago. It said, Usain Bolt took 4 years to train to set that world record mark.
Mhm. Like,
Some people take a week and quit. Some people quit in 2 days. Some people quit in a month and put pressure on themselves.
yeah,
Imagine waiting 4 years to break a record and not knowing what the outcome's going to be.
I think the scariest thing, like I said, was to know to train all that time and not put 100% of the effort in, and then you come up short in that 9 seconds, and then you feel that disappointment, and then you think about every day you took a day off.
Yeah.
You think about every time you didn't run all your way you could through the line. Like
But some people, that's where the insecurities come up because they're not truthful with themselves.
Mhm.
They don't say that they've done that, but they expect the same results. You have to be truthful with yourself.
my trainer used to say when I was in high school, he said you can't. He said you can lie to me, but you can't lie to yourself.
That's right.
Yeah. So
That's right.
even if some students come in and I tell them sometimes, if I teach both of you guys the same way, the same time, and someone gets it before or quicker than whoever it may be, one of the reasons is you have to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, why did I give my all every day? Did I put in the time like that next student? Did I give my did I invest in myself to the point where I know when I stop training or stop investing my time in this whatever it is that I gave my all? So you can't get upset if this other student is picking up faster than you are because you don't know how much work he's put in,
Mhm.
and that's important too.
And I just, it's just cool to see people's journey, and it's crazy to think that these people that I've been around are almost done, and that there will be more people, and just continue to see different people come in and grow and learn. And
But that's the process of it. Like you said, the journey is so good, it's so great because if it just happened all at once and you picked it up in 2 days, you don't have a story to tell.
be no point having it.
That's what
You
I was just sitting here thinking. Like, what is your story?
what you don't have nothing. You
Everybody.
don't have
That's
nothing to
right.
talk about
Yeah. It goes back to the journey.
because
Gotta go through it.
people want to hear that it wasn't just given to you.
hmm
Oh, no, you was born. You got inheritance. You ain't work for it. You got an inheritance.
Yeah.
But why would you want an inheritance in barbering? It's something that's an acquired skill. You should want to go through the journey and work
You
through
gotta
it
work at it. You gotta
because
work at it.
there's so many different things to learn.
That's what's cool about it too. Like you
Yeah.
can teach your kid how to cut, but you can't teach them to cut well. Like they have to want to grow and be
That's
better.
right.
Be patient with that process because you learn something every month. From my experience, most students don't hit their stride until about 7 months. Some of them hit their strides before that, but those are the special ones. But majority of students hit their strides about 7 months in where they're real comfortable. They're not their best. They're not their best, but they hit their stride around that time.
And it don't mean they can't be a first round draft pick.
It
By the
doesn't
time,
mean
That's
that.
right. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
because you're getting a little late, don't mean
That's
you ain't gonna
right.
be great at it.
But most of them, when they come, I have to talk students off the ledge all the time in the first 2 weeks, in the first month.
Talk them off the ledge.
Well, because a lot of times this is like this is people's first time doing something of this nature.
Mhm.
That's why I was talking about the maturity level. Like it really shows. When you start putting yourself in a situation like that where you've got to produce and all of a sudden now you got to think about the next day and the next day and the whole time that you're there at
Yeah.
school. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Some guys that you guys are encountering have never even had to think like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is all new to them. So it's so many aspects
That's
of
like
it.
I said, if I came out of high school, I probably wouldn't have made
That's
it.
right.
I
That's
wouldn't.
right.
I had to grow up first.
And I
Yeah.
mean, and I talk to students all the time. One student, remember, like about a month ago, he told me, Craig, I love your former student Juan. Juan is great. He cuts hair so well. But every time I do a haircut in school, it just don't come out like how Juan's come out. I'm like, Juan has been out of school a year and a half, almost 2 years. You've been there 3 months. It's not fair for you to compare yourself to Juan.
It's not fair for Juan or him.
It's not fair
Yeah,
for both of
really,
you guys.
really.
It's almost disrespectful for you to say that my cut should be as good as Juan as much time as he put in.
Mhm.
So would it be okay if his cut was better than Juan's?
I
He
mean,
wouldn't be saying that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah.
yeah, but from my experience, you got to give yourself time.
One thing too, I think you don't realize too, until you're later on in the industry, is that you like say all three of us, if we were nail techs, we could use the same products by the same company, the same brushes, but everybody's going to turn out totally different because it's in your technique.
You gonna cook me? I've
That-
never.
Well, I'm just saying, if we were,
Yeah, I got
all
you.
three nail
And-
techs,
and-
like it's going to be different, and we're using the same product.
And
You're
that's
right.
come from the journey of learning something that someone else don't know because
That's right.
everyone's going to have their own unique style.
That's right.
and you're going to find something, some way to get your job done more efficiently for you that no one else will know.
Yeah, it's just your technique.
But you don't get that in a day. You don't get that in a month. It
Mhm.
takes time to acquire that,
Well, I
time
think
to
me and you
develop
talked
that.
one time about one of my clients. She was irritated. That she found out this lady went up on a haircut for her, and she was like, "I'm not paying that extra $5." And I was like, well, okay, $5 is $5. You should be willing to pay that. The lady did a great job on her hair, and she always got compliments. But the long story short, she refused to pay that extra $5. And I said, but you have to understand, you're paying for her services. She's got a technique that makes your hair look great every
Hmm.
time you come out. And she stopped going to the lady, and her haircut never looked the same.
Right.
But I was like, you're paying for her technique. Yes, somebody else can do the exact same haircut. She's like, I'll get my niece to do it for me, but it did not turn out the same. So
Then she's on like Barber's Gone Wild.
yeah,
Hair falling out.
yeah.
And this is why I'm split down the middle to this next one right here. It's YouTube. I think it's good to watch YouTube,
I love you too.
but it's also deterrent as well
In what way?
because a lot of those pictures are photoshopped, and you compare yourself to a haircut on YouTube that is photoshopped that took 3 hours to be done.
Had to get the right light
I had to get
angle.
the right
Oh
light
yeah,
angle.
professional.
Had-
Everybody's a
Got
professional.
the $500
Yeah,
camera.
yeah.
Yeah,
Seriously.
and you're looking at that and you're like, oh, my haircut does not look the same.
But they used to tell me that at the shop because I would tell them I want my hair. I would find some crazy haircut on Instagram. I'd be like, I want my haircut to look like that, and they would be like, oh, well, that's Photoshop. They do a lot of fake stuff with that, and I was like, I don't care. My haircuts are going to look like that,
Right.
and that was my motivating. That you said that, like, that's what's my thought process. Like, I'm gonna make my face look so blurry that they look fake.
And that's what I'm saying. I said I'm split down the middle because I want you to watch YouTube. I want you to be able to identify different types of
they're
haircuts.
goals.
I want you to look at things and aspire to see different styles, to learn, because YouTube is a great teaching
Yeah.
tool as well.
Keeps you current.
Keeps you current, keeps you
Yeah.
active, keeps you in the now.
Yeah.
Because, but then the downfall is you comparing yourself, you beating yourself up, and you trying to cut do a technique the same way, but you don't realize it's edited. A lot of the techniques are some haircuts are like 5 minutes. You watch a clip for five, and not too many people can watch a whole haircut for like an hour.
They cut it
Yeah,
up. They split it up.
Yeah, nobody can do that. Some people can. I take it back. Some people can, but they cut it in like 5 minutes so you can watch a quick clip,
Yeah.
and you expect your haircut to come out the same way. There's so many different angles and different tools that barbers might use that might not be in that clip.
Well, then too, you got to ask yourself, how much have you set aside? Like, say, if you've got 10 haircuts a day, how long does it take you to do a haircut?
Right.
You don't have 2 to 4 days to do somebody's hair, or come back, and we'll do a next session, or
Yeah.
you don't do that. So you gotta, because I know for me, a lot of times I get people bringing in pictures to me constantly, all day long,
Yeah.
but I know that I try to get as close to that picture as I can. And if I'm comfortable with that, or and that's called the consultation part of it too. Let's talk to
Consultation, the
you
most
about it.
important
That's
part of a
right.
haircut.
That's right. So, it's like, let's talk about what I can do. So I know my skills.
Right.
I
Be
know
realistic.
my skills.
Be
Yeah.
realistic.
There's no need in letting this lady know that I can paint a shark on her nail. Maybe I can't,
Right.
So the thing is, you have the consultation, and then you're like, okay, well, maybe we can do this one here. And because I got to know too, I've got to do you in an hour and a half.
Right.
I don't have 4 hours to do you, right?
And then sometimes she ain't got enough nail to do what she want to do.
And you know what? Or money.
Mhm.
If I
Yeah.
started charging people by the hour, like you are not going to pay me that.
No.
So let's kind of keep it to reality here too.
And understand, use your instructors.
That's right.
Use your instructors. Ask them for advice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's okay to go into something and try it, and because mistakes that's inevitable.
Part of it.
That's
Yeah.
part of it. You're gonna make mistakes. You are gonna mess someone's haircut up when you start.
Yeah.
I just laugh. I was thinking about one I did. I was laughing. I had this dude come in and I just started cutting, and I could barely use clippers. Like I said, I used to pray for a buzz cut. And this dude came in with long hair. He had long hair. I'm like, so what we doing, man? Cutting it all off? And he's like, no, I just want to trim. I was like, I was doing apprenticeship, so I looked at this guy. He was busy. I looked at this guy. He was busy. And I was like, I got this. Oh man, I ain't seen him since. I hope he's all right. I hope he's all
I
right.
mean, but
He might have moved away. He moved
Yeah,
away. Yeah,
he
he
but
moved
he
on. Yeah.
probably did.
I mean, it's okay. Like again, I'm split down the middle between that too, because some things you should try to work your way in and try to fix it, try to figure it out, because you can learn from that mistake. You have to see the haircut unrefined, so you can know what to do better, what to fix, what to your time, how to make it work best for you. Because if you don't see it unrefined, you cannot make it fine.
I'll tell you what happened to me, and this was just maybe a month ago. I had a lady. I had tried a new product on her. I didn't like the result that it turned out to be, but it was getting later in the night, about 8:30, and she's got kids too. So we were like, "Let's get home." And I slept on that. The next morning, I got up and I was like, "Hey, I'm just not comfortable with how your nails turned out. Would you be okay with coming back and let me fix that for you and
Right,
make that right?" She was like, "Wendy, you read my mind."
Customer service.
Right?
right,
And she was more than glad to come back. But that I knew was going to carry me over instead of having her think, "Hey, Wendy don't care. She's
right.
just giving me any kind of, service and just pushing me on out the door." And I did not want to have her think that. So
Yep.
customers do appreciate you feeling concerned about the way they look,
I've messaged the
right?
customers be like, "Yo, was it all right? Is it good?"
Right.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah,
And
because you need that
I
feedback.
do.
you do need that feedback. And as a student, you should be able to take feedback.
Yep.
One of the things that a lot of some students do, not too many. Some of them will just try to keep making mistakes, making mistakes, and will just push the instructor away. I got this. We've been there before you. We understand that you want to be your best. Let us help you. Let us help you better yourself. We understand you want to be independent, but we're here for you to help you. Let us help you.
I, I think I saw it one time at the school. This girl was getting ready to just wing something. She's about to just wing it. And then Search came out. I was like, "Yo, what you doing?" And she was like, and they finally conversed and talked about it. It's like she had been building up these questions that she was just doing it without even actually. And then actually, when she actually got information on it, it lit her up and she knew what she was doing. So yeah, people, I don't know what it is but I don't know if it's an ego thing or just insecure to ask and don't want to feel like they're stupid. And you need to just get past that. You need to let go of all your anxiety when it comes to trying something new because you're going to suck at it. You're going to not know stuff about it. You're going to get better, and then you're going to make another mistake again. You just got to trust the process.
Don't beat yourself up.
That's right.
Don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. And it's probably easier said than done. And you look at like athletes, they struck out in the last bottom of the ninth inning in the World Series, Game 7. They have to be able to wipe that memory out and start ready for the next year and ready to come up the first opening day and ready to swing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you missed that jump shot with 3 seconds and the clock ran out and you didn't make it. And everybody, oh, you was at the free throw line. You got to be able to wipe because you're going to have to be counted on again.
You have a bad memory. You
Yep,
got to be able.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up. That's just like barbering. You're not expected to be God and be perfect.
It's funny that we're just saying this when, I know it's going to happen to everybody.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it happened to me, it happened to everybody. Even though, and I just called Craig the other day, like, "Yo, Craig, I just messed somebody's head up, man." I was like, I had to tell somebody. I was like, man, it was bad, man. I had to tell somebody. And he said you're one for 444, right? That's
Yeah.
what they, yeah. So it's then now somebody said a quote about baseball. It said baseball is one of the hardest sports. It said if you strike out 7 out of 10 times, that makes you elite in baseball.
And you're good.
You're
All
the
you need,
best. You're one of the best.
you just need 3.5 hits.
That's right.
That's it.
3.5. That's a lot. That's Hall of Fame right there.
Yeah.
Barry
Yeah.
Bonds.
To be your best, you have to know the ins and outs. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to fail while you're in school as long as you're learning, as long as you're getting better. And understand the process. It's a process. Understand it. Embrace the process. Embrace the process. Be patient. Be present every day. The theory is the most important part of your learning. Learn that theory inside out. Ask questions to your instructors. Anything you guys want to add to that?
I mean, it's okay if you want to be an artist, but Uncle Sam gonna check you. So you need to learn. You need to learn everything in that book because no questions need to be asked. If you know that way, you know it whenever anytime a question comes up, you know it. Period.
Yeah.
So,
And then one thing too, you just have an allotted amount of time in school,
Hmm.
so just take advantage of it all. I mean,
yeah,
you're paying for it.
yeah, right.
Yes.
You get the full potential while you're there.
Build your clients, build a clientele base, work in your customer service.
Yep. Yep.
Working your customer service is not just going to take a day because you have to probably go through a bunch of people to get some
Oh, for sure.
feedback
For
to
sure.
see to gauge where you're at.
For sure.
So if you think your customer service is top notch in a day or two, come on,
Yeah.
work on that 10 to 11 months. Work on your customer service to be the best person possible.
Mhm.
Work on your consultation skills, which is the most important part of your haircut. Work on greeting people. Work on answering the phones.
Mhm. I mean, those little things matter.
Yes.
They're huge because I know for me, sometimes I feel like I think my ladies like my nails,
Mm-hmm.
but I really feel like, man, I can't wait to get in there and talk to Wendy today.
Mm-hmm.
I had some stuff
Yeah.
to talk to her about.
Right.
And the nails, it just happens to be just part of what brings us together.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, all that matters. But they like how I speak with them. They like how I listen. I'm always available for them. I always have them ready for their appointment. They like all that.
Work on positive communication skills with your client.
Because sometimes your clients will come in, they're negative. They had a
Yes.
hard day. They might be going through something.
Yeah.
People are human. So
Mm-hmm.
things happen,
Work on be an active listener.
and you can learn how to deflect that energy too when they come in with that bad energy.
So
Just
all the things, everything we're
we're not
talking
gonna
about,
listen to them.
you're not going to be able to do that in a day
Oh
or a
no,
week.
no, no, no.
So
Take
that's
some.
so that's why it's important to go through the process and enjoy the journey.
Exactly.
Learn yourself. Learn how to learn.
Pain feels good.
There's so
Yeah.
much you can do.
Yeah.
So what are about some tips that you can give students as well on to make them be a successful additional tips to make them just have this to retain clients?
Oh, to retain
Yes,
clients.
because all this is just process to help you while you're in school to be better.
I think too, like if you have like a goal outside of when you finish school,
Hmm.
you can let people that you're working on know, like, hey, I'm planning on maybe going working at Craig's Crown Cuts. I'm hoping to go there after. Maybe look me up. After I finish school, like you can go ahead and start plugging yourself then.
Right.
You know?
Start writing down clients' names
Yeah.
early.
Yeah.
Start writing down clients' names, their birth date, and their address. So maybe while you're in school, you can send them a note saying, you know what, I really appreciate you coming to the school and giving me an opportunity
Yep.
to get a shot on your head. And
Yep.
I know it's your birthday. Once you come by the school, I'll talk to the owner about getting you a free haircut for your birthday. All those things help build
Oh,
clientele.
for sure. Yeah. And when I was in school, Facebook didn't even exist or IG. I know I might be telling my age right now,
No, you
but I mean,
good.
seriously, none of it existed. What do we do? An advertisement in the newspaper or
Yeah.
something? Because I know a
Billboards.
couple of times, yeah, seriously, when we were shut down, when we were closed for 6 weeks there, we did a couple of interviews, especially what was going on with George Floyd and all that stuff.
Mm.
And so I had a couple of clients reach out to me. They was like, "Oh my God, Wendy!" Like, yeah, I forgot. They just kind of went away, stopped
Right.
getting their nails done,
Mhm.
and they called me up because they seen me on the news.
I need my nails done.
Yeah,
So working on yourself, working on your communication, working
yeah.
on just your people skills
Mhm.
while you're in school too is important.
I think one thing that you can do is like a lot of people, a lot of students schedule. This is their schedule. I have to wake up from 9:30 to 4:30. I go to school and then I go to work. Your schedule should be from 8:30 to 9:30. I got class, and then from 9:30 to 11, I'm doing haircut. You should make a schedule in a schedule.
Right.
Yeah.
Your day be planned out at school. It shouldn't just be a school, a big block school 8:30 to 4:30. It should be blocks in the school. You make time for yourself in school. And I think that will prepare you for when I mean, even if you don't do appointments, go out of school, you'll be prepared on how to manage your time.
It's important. It's imperative. So once you focusing on just the haircut, you'll expect the haircut to develop over time, and that's not fair. So develop all these other skills that we talked about to help you be a master
Mhm.
technician at your craft, master barber, master a cosmetologist, a master nail technician, a master esthetician. All those things will help you prepare yourself for that. Because if you just focus on the skill, I think you're losing what's at hand.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. There's just a lot of factors that goes into that.
So many
Yeah.
factors.
Mhm.
You can't appreciate the game.
Yeah.
Appreciate the fact that you have a if you have a school big enough where you have 30, 40 people, 15 around you that you can network with, you are learning and growing from that as well.
Yeah. Because exactly, like, say you have a guy you're in school with and you guys are doing haircuts, but he goes to this one shop to work. Well, he might have too many clients that he can't take on. He's just going to shoot them over to you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just keeping in touch with each other, and I think is important too. Knowing where everybody goes.
Oh, yeah.
Like you say, hey,
Mhm.
if I need a haircut somewhere, I need to go cut, then I keep.
Exactly.
Build your and be that positive person, be that positive student.
Be somebody that you would want to be around.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you are better than most students, help out. Give them a tip. Throw them a bone.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes the way you explain it as a student might be easier to pick up from another student.
Or just compliment another
Yeah,
student.
just
Yeah.
compliment them.
That would be enough. Yeah, cut is dope.
A confidence builder.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Help out. Because there's so much you could learn on. So much you could ingest just from being around different people in the school setting. And one thing people underestimate is cleaning and sanitation. Major, especially through the pandemic, what we're going through.
Yeah.
And that's something that in the Barber books from day one, clean and sanitation, taking care of your tools and implements, knowing how to work your chairs, cleaning the base of your chairs. And after every haircut, you should sweep. After every client, you should clean up.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Do the little. So all these things we're talking about, we haven't really hit on the actual haircut.
Oh no, not yet.
We haven't actually hit on the actual skill, the practical part of the skill work.
The haircut, that's subjective. This is stuff that is the basic foundations of the game.
And
Which almost can be harder.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you're right.
Because I mean, you could do a great haircut, right? If you've got a bad attitude,
Yeah.
or you're not on time, or you're canceling on people, or what have you, you're not. Yeah,
and
all that other stuff is voided.
And these are things that people who are licensed and who have been in the industry for years are doing. Bad with scheduling, bad with cleaning,
Yep.
bad with people skills. Talk to people any which way. You can't expect to have a bad attitude and talk to people any which way and retain clients.
Or
It's
keep
not
your
gonna
teeth.
or keep referrals.
Yeah.
That you can't expect that. That's not even fair. Because our industry is so wonderful, but we lose a lot of luster for it, and people lose a lot of respect for it because of us. If we don't take care of it and make it the top, because it can't be the top, it can't be I think it's one of the best professions in the world.
Hands down.
But if we don't take care of it as professionals and keep showing every day why people should come into our industry, that's when people start disrespecting us and don't really respect what we do. Someone will call you and say, "What you doing?" Just want to have a casual conversation while you're working.
Is there a barber round table? Is there like a round table of barbers that just like, I don't know, control the flow of everything?
What do you mean?
I don't know, like a barber. I don't know, like a conglomerate. Not corporation, but it's like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Talking about the Masons of barbering?
I mean, I don't want to say that because that brings up feelings. But yeah, like something like that, like just like a round table that's just like, okay, this is good for the game and this is bad for the game. Of professionals.
I mean, it's something that we need to talk about, or we can talk about.
I think the more the people, I feel like people are starting to unify a little more with this barber thing.
It is.
And so
Yeah,
the
I
circle's
think so.
becoming a lot smaller,
hmm
and over time, I think it'll work itself out.
It seems like too, like all of a sudden in the last several years, like the haircuts got a lot better.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, it was never that they were really bad initially, but it's like that is the thing for a man to have a great haircut.
That's
He
And
could
yeah.
get your
almost have
beard,
on anything,
get
Yeah.
your
but if
beard
he's
tight.
groomed, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it takes him 100% up.
That's
But
why they
You know?
sell clothes with holes in them.
Seriously, seriously. You know, you can have on about any, almost some grungy shoes. Not
Yeah.
really, but I mean, you almost could.
Dirty Air
But
Force
you know what I
Ones.
mean.
but
But
with,
if you got a banging haircut, it might look like you bought your Air Force
but
Ones
there's
that
so many
way.
You're right.
people. But there's so many people changing careers and coming into our industry, and that's what it is. People are realizing that hey, this is a great career. Contrary to what we pay for school, this is a great career.
A lot of people feel like too. Well, you know, you work for yourself. You can make your own hours, and that is true.
Yes.
You can, but then it's almost just that hard. You know, managing and supervising yourself.
Yep.
Mhm.
You know, because I'm pretty strict on myself, like as if like I have a boss.
Right.
You know,
I mean,
yeah,
but you want to make money.
that's right.
You want to grow your
That's right.
business, so you have
That's
to be
right.
strict.
But
That's
that
right.
I'm starting to transition to that. At first, I wasn't because I was just focused on getting better. But now, as it gets by, I'm like, I have to manage my time better. I have to manage my money better. I have to market myself in a certain way to promote
Yeah.
who I am, and that happened over time, just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
growing. But
Sometimes things just click.
yeah,
Yeah,
And think
mhm.
about that. What you just said, it happens over time,
it happens
and
all
you
the
understand it
time.
just naturally happened.
It did.
And if you wanted it to happen right then it would not have happened.
But I feel like this industry put my focus on the full spectrum. Like I was tracked in this. Let me clock in, get a paycheck, go home, and then I get to live my
Mm-mm.
life every
Yeah,
so
yeah,
often, and I might have enough time to take a vacation with my family.
I mean,
yeah.
I, this industry is so wonderful. I read an article one time in the New York Times within the past 2 months, and we probably talked about it on the podcast previously, where it says it's almost doesn't make sense to go to law school no more because you go to law school, you come out with $250,000, $300,000 worth of debt,
Mm.
and the job's perspective, you start out at about like 60, 70 grand a year. I mean, barbers are making that coming out of school without that much debt, with a quarter of that debt.
More than likely, maybe none.
With a quarter of that, your salary is 70, you start out with a quarter of that debt.
Probably have the stress too.
Yeah, seriously.
That's how wonderful our
Seriously.
industry is.
Just to
And
not have that
yeah,
just student loans like that would put just pressure on you.
yeah, I mean, a quarter of that, your starting salary. Your tuition is a quarter of your starting salary. I mean, some barbers making 70, 60, 80,000, $100,000 a year. But realistically, I, I would put it away somewhere around like 50,
50, 60, yeah, 50,
50, 60
yeah.
starting out.
Mhm.
And I mean, that's wonderful.
That's solid,
That's
especially if
solid.
you 19
What?
to 18,
Yeah,
19.
seriously.
Yeah, I
It's good
mean,
money.
yeah, exactly. You
But
making more than your parents.
but invest in yourself. Do all these things that we talked about, and there's some more that we probably missed out on. But we gave you a starter to prepare yourself. What can you do while you're in school to help you better yourself by the time you get out?
They know what they're doing too.
Yeah.
They know, and then they come up with the excuses because they know what they're doing, and because you know what you should do better. You can lie to me, but you can't lie to yourself.
You can't.
And you can try to lie to me because you can. Yeah, but I'm just gonna tell you, oh, that's all good. I'm gonna keep it moving.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
keep it
keep
moving.
it moving.
But I'm sure when students start, right, and within the first week to 2 weeks, you can tell if they're a good student or not.
Mhm.
You can tell how successful they're going to be.
Um,
Maybe like, do you see much change?
I see the budding ones first. You see the ones that are going to be great first. I
Yes,
think most of the time, but that's not
I
to
can
say the
see
rest of
that.
them won't be great. It's just that they haven't figured it out yet. When I first started cutting
Exactly.
hair, I couldn't see past the next guy coming in. Like,
right.
but now it's like it's a world.
Some people hit their stride. I mean, if that's all you want to do is just cut hair, just be a cutter, you're gonna hit your stride.
Mm-hmm.
But
Quick.
why not be well rounded?
Yeah.
Why not think about opening a shop? Why not think about opening a school? Why not think about being an instructor? Why not think about being a platform artist? Why not think about being a brand representative? Why not think about just traveling the country and teaching about haircuts or teaching about some wonderful skill that you came up with? And that's what separates the cutters from the people who enjoy this industry and don't get burnt out.
The mental goal I set for myself with this is that I told myself when I was getting paid to get on an airplane to go somewhere to do hair, that's when I feel like I've accomplished as much as I've wanted to accomplish. At least at that point, I think that's the next goal for myself is when somebody pays me to get on an airplane to go somewhere, then I'm doing what
Right.
I think I want to be doing. So
I mean, but that's gonna happen. But you're not putting no pressure on yourself saying it has to happen today or else I'm gonna just
mm,
stop. I'll just stop cutting hair.
no,
No.
I ain't doing that. It's gonna. I know it's gonna happen. It's eventually, but I know that when it does happen, I can like almost like when Hussein Bolt got that gold medal. I can be like, yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I ain't done yet. I'm gonna come back in 4 more years,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
still.
yeah.
Barber College Success brought to you by Craig Charles of Crown Cuts Academy, Crown Cuts Bristol, and Craig's Crown Cuts Downtown. If you have questions, hit us up. I mean, we get questions all the time. We get questions on YouTube. We get questions on Instagram. Check out our Instagram page of Barber College Success. Check out Crown Cuts Academy Bristol or Johnson. Send us a message. We'll try to respond to you as promptly as quick as possible because what helps us with is the feedback from people out there. We're in over 60 countries around the world. Something that you want to talk about, a topic that you want us to embrace and share with you, let us know. I mean, I get people all the time hitting me up saying, "Man, thank you. Wish I could come to school in Johnson City." You can have that same experience at the school where you at if you talk to your instructors and invest in your school. Come up with suggestions. Help your school grow. Help your instructors teach. Give them suggestions. Add to it. But again, I welcome questions. Welcome. I love the message that I get saying, "Man, I heard your podcast. It was wonderful. I loved it. You helped me a lot. You put me in a position of thinking, changing my mentality, changing my mindset." Um, I mean, we are in the Caribbean. We're in New York. We're in China. We're in Scotland. We're in India. We're in Australia, Japan. This is a major podcast. So I just want to thank our fans and one time salute you guys. Ah, what you think, am I?
I was literally thinking of random places where his podcast. I was like Madagascar. I was thinking of like the most random places they could be listening. Like you know what I'm saying, New Guinea. Like
I
but not
mean,
for real. Yeah,
yeah.
it's awesome, man. It saved me. It saved I think a lot of me, man. Like I don't know where I would be right now if it wasn't for it. I know wherever it was, it'd be miserable. So I'm serious. I'm serious. This thing
Yeah.
saved me. So
Yeah. What do you think about the experience on the podcast today? I know you was on it earlier. What do you like about it? What you didn't like? What was your experience like?
As just a podcast overall
Yeah,
or a topic.
the podcast and the topic.
As far as the topic, I would add, if you're a student currently right now, ask yourself what can you add as a student to your school?
Hmm.
What can you add? What are you going to add every day that you show up to school? What are you going to add that day? Whether if it be a compliment to another student,
Hmm.
how can you help with your teachers, instructors? What can you add? But as far as the podcast, I love it. I think it's great. It's fun. Yeah. This is my second time being on here. Was I on the
okay.
first one, the very first
Well,
one?
it was something else. It was better. It was better every day,
So the
Lathan.
second one or something, maybe? Yeah.
Johnson
Yeah.
City Living.
Johnson Silly.
It
Yeah.
wasn't even the podcast. Then it was Johnson City Living.
Yeah. And then that's how it evolved from
Yep.
that. Yep. 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 You're right. Yeah.
Yep.
So
That's the
I
birth of it.
enjoy it.
Yep.
You doing
I
an
love it.
origins episode
Well,
next time?
no. Lathan had this thing, Johnson City Living, and he
Yep.
invited us on there to talk about Johnson City Living.
Yeah.
And after I was on it, I was like, you know what? Let's do a podcast.
Yeah.
And
And that was the
start.
first one we were on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I think it's fun.
Oh, I love it. I look forward to my Mondays sitting next to MI and just chopping it up and being like, hey, I think
I enjoy my drive too, man.
Yeah.
I ain't made it in wintertime though. It's gonna be. I'm gonna see what that wintertime drive looks like. It's crazy enough drive to
Hey,
Tennessee.
man. Southeast Virginia is Tennessee.
No, it's not.
East Tennessee is Southwest Virginia.
Maybe to some.
It's all in the one spot right there. This is all the same people, man.
I'm happy to be here, Craig.
I know, man. MI always try to.
Craig doesn't understand.
Yeah,
MI always try to separate Virginia and Tennessee. They're like, right,
you know what I'm saying?
It's different.
It's a line there. It might be imaginary, but it's a line
It
there.
really is a border. Like you said, imaginary, but very yes.
I want to share one thing with you guys that are listening. We do something at Crown Cuts Academy called Each One Teach One. And what Each One Teach One is, we bring we might bring a former student into the school to do a demonstration, do a haircut, or we might bring someone who has a specialty or something that they're good at to come and teach the students. Or we also have the students teach each other, teach each other about a skill that they might acquire, something that they have that they want to share. What it does, it helps students just be able to talk amongst their peers in a comfortable setting, just be able to prepare them because you never know when you might have to talk in front of people. And most students are really shy and reserved about talking. So to each one teach one, we do it every Friday. We bring the students up and just have them share something that they're expertise in. Some of the topics we've had, some students came and talked about what type of clippers they like, the laws of alcohol in a barbershop, spray tanning. We had one student came up and played the guitar. We had one student he was talking about perfumes, all the different types of perfumes. Because I didn't know until he did that it's not called cologne. Even for men, it's called perfume. I didn't know that.
You read the book?
No, I didn't read the book, but shout out to Nick. Nick came out and did an awesome job. We had one student came out and talk about how to get a loan from a bank. We had one student come and talk about marketing. What role does colors play in people's perception and people buying power? We had so many great topics. I can't even continue or talk about how many we've had, but I enjoyed. So that's one thing that you can suggest to your instructors or your school to do each one teach one, where they could bring someone in or just the students teach each other students about a skill. Or maybe just a chapter that you like in a textbook that you want to talk about. Go out there and tell the instructor that you want to teach it. What that will prepare you for, you don't understand how that's going to prepare you to be a better barber, how to maybe represent yourself for a brand. And all these things that students want to, that brands are looking for. We also do something called fades and flows, where we have a competition with the students within the school where we have students bring a client, bring a model, and they cut their model's hair, and we judge it. We have a food truck outside. We give prizes. We just have people in the community come on, make it a big community event. It's called Fades and Flows. And we have a live band. We've had some students rap. We've had some students play some '80s music. We just had a good old time. You remember that last one you did, MI? We'll talk about that.
Well, it was still fun, but the COVID had limited all the extracurricular stuff. So I'm
Right.
hyped for the next one.
Yeah,
I get to see like wide open.
Well, it's gonna be in Bristol. I'm just trying to plan a date for it. I know
Okay.
we talked about it. We was thinking about the 20 something in November, but we'll do something because I know the students are really happy thinking about it because we're gonna combine both schools, Johnson City and Bristol, and have them just come up and just cut in Bristol.
To be like Karate Kid.
So there are stuff you can suggest to your students. We played charades. We've played what's that?
Jenga.
We played Jenga with students where we just
Jenga.
sat in a circle and had students just answer a question and pull the Jenga out. The big Jengas.
Big blocks, yeah.
Yeah, we played Jeopardy. We've had what's that when you hit the sign on both sides with Steve Harvey?
Family
Family
Feud.
Feud,
Family
yeah.
Feud, where we had students do a studying questions for a test where the person who hits the buzzer first gets to answer a question and they get extra points. We've done stuff with as far as cornhole. We study using cornholes. Those are different activities that we try to add in the school to make it fun, to break down the monotony of just having to just be in a school, just thinking about cutting hair. Because as I said, cutting hair is going to get you there, but that's not the main focus. You need to get more and different things out of school to give you that total experience.
I was thinking about a student in China Googling cornhole after they hear this.
No, Squid Games.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
We probably will do that next.
Squid
Yeah.
Games.
Okay.
And then we do
Red
on
light, green light.
yeah, and then we also do one on COTD on Instagram and Facebook, which is cut of the day. Suggest that to you. I mean, a lot of students look forward to seeing their haircuts posted on the Instagram and on the Facebook. We do different things like that to kind of highlight students to show them that we appreciate them, let them know, hey, we also are marketing you too as well. So the overall experience needs to be great.
People like being involved too.
Yeah.
They like being included. Like, oh, that's my haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many other things that I probably missed that I didn't talk about. But if you have any suggestions, if you want help as an instructor or as a school looking for some suggestions for your school, you can call me and I'll break them down to you how we add those into the curriculum, how we help students just be a part. And then we do some potlucks where we have students come and bring their favorite meal. We're doing something for Halloween. We're probably going to have a Halloween party. I don't know how we're going to do it yet, but we're going to do it. So, yeah, we wore the chocolate covered M&Ms.
Chocolate covered M&Ms.
You missed it.
I can't remember last time I wore an outfit for
I
Halloween.
mean, mine was simple. I seen like I'm getting that. It's that simple. Yeah. Wendy was all dressed to the T. I was like, I'm getting that right there.
I'm gonna be like, I'm a barber.
What did you say you were going to be?
I told her I was going
to be Craig.
I'm going as Craig.
I'm like,
You mean the guy that owns the pawn shop?
yeah. That would have been good.
Yeah, so I told him I'm going.
Shop.
So I'm just leaving working. I'm dressed. I'm Craig. I'm going with my name tag on and everything.
Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah.
No,
Mayor Craig.
You could have some dye coming down the side of
I don't want that. Oh, vicious.
No.
But
I
again,
try to talk him into being Bob Ross.
Bob Ross? Oh, man, that'd be hilarious.
I'd be too dark.
Have you seen the documentary on Netflix of Bob Ross?
We did watch it.
It was good. I watched it in the shop.
It was crazy. It was kind of sad.
It was sad, but it was dope to see.
Yeah,
Like the dude
yeah.
just cared about making people happy, showing off his art.
And he didn't really get his just due, which was kind of crazy.
I don't think he would have cared about it, honestly.
I mean, but his kids did.
I mean, shoot, never mind. I ain't gonna speculate. It was a good.
There you go.
But anyway, man, this was a great topic. What you think of this topic?
I loved it. It was great to be on here. It's great to talk to you, but I've never like conversed with you, so it was cool.
So I mean, actually, the topic today was going to be about those apps, the booking apps. But I didn't think we had enough information on it, and we'll probably, if not next week, the week after. Yeah, I think that's important because I think next week we'll be in Nashville on Sunday, so I don't know if we'll be able to come on time.
I'll be in Outer Banks next week.
Okay,
so it worked out perfect.
Oh, we might have to do one the following day or something.
Yeah, the following day.
Yeah,
next week. I'll be gone all next week.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
All right, we'll probably do something on Friday then, or sometime. I'll do. You know what? We'll do something short.
Do one dolo,
and then I'll have you zoom in from,
I can
from
do
the
that.
shop.
Yeah, I'm gonna be at the beach too, like this.
I mean, nah, you know why?
Don't agree to that.
I'll be like, you know, talk about. Sorry, that's about.
You know why it's good though, because we have to talk about barbers taking time out for themselves.
That's you done made a podcast.
Yeah,
and I'll be at the beach.
Time
You gotta go to the beach now.
Yeah. No, I'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all go to the beach.
Just saying.
I'm having a fishing pole like this. Yeah, Craig.
It'll be Craig. I'll be off shopping in the ocean somewhere.
But this was I like the podcast, and I think we got off some great information. We dropped some gems. No, we earned the crown today. Hashtag earn the crown. Hashtag earn the crown. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. We had a great show. Check us out. We had a new class starting in Bristol today. We have a new class starting the first of every Tuesday, the first of the month in Johnson City. We accept financial aid, Pell Grants. We have in-house financing. We have no interest loan payments to the school. We accept the GI Bill. We also accept vocational rehab. Hey, if you're looking for a career change, looking to do something different, hit us up. Hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, any major social network platform. And even if you have a question, call us at 423-461-0004. And Wendy, you want to talk about your shop where people can meet you and hit you up at?
Yeah, I'm down here, located in Johnson City, Tennessee, 111 Spring Street, Suite 2 and 3 and 4. I also just recently acquired a new nail tech as well that works with me. I've got a lady also next door that does esthetician as well. That works with me too. So, if you guys need eyebrows waxing, extra nails, we've got it covered. So,
and you'll be doing packages this Christmas for nails and facial packages.
Henna bras, body waxing. We do it all. So yeah, just let us know. 111 Spring Street, downtown Johnson City.
Phone number?
423-268-2626.
Am I your barber? By the Blade Barbershop, Marion, Virginia.
Yes, sir. Spreading love. The JC way is the only way we know how to do it is the Crown Cuts way. Again, thank you for tuning in. We had a wonderful episode. If you have any questions, hit us up. Peace.